Welcome to Board Game Binge, the place where we bring you bite-sized, bingeable board game content from across the industry. I'm your host, James Staley, and in this episode, we're chatting with Ludovic Adam, a game designer who, along with Fox Troll Games, is bringing his epic dungeon crawler to Gamefound. Ludo, welcome to the binge. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thank you for this great intro. A lot
Well,
of energy there.
it is fantastic
Mm,
having you on this podcast. I want to first give a shout out to our mutual friend, Stefan Godot. We had him on the podcast a few weeks ago on his latest game, but as we all know, outside of his Godot games, he's also a consultant and works with various companies with a lot of success. And just a preview of what I can see so far is this is going to be another smash hit. So it is super cool to have you on here. We're going to get into the game in a little bit, but first, before we start that, you're coming to us from Brussels, I guess, is it?
yes, exactly. I'm from Brussels, and and Adrien, which is my business partner in this, is also from Brussels.
And then, so how long have you, like, when did you get into this industry? Because this is your first title, right, that you're actually launching?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's my first like really professional endeavor, let's say, in this world. I've been creating other board games before
Hmm.
that have been signed by a company that unfortunately had to stop their activities. So I had some other activity, let's say. I've been playing games and role-playing games and board games and video games for like forever. But let's say the deciding to go a bit more into it as a designer started during COVID. It's a COVID project.
COVID. And then, so you said you were doing design. So this is your first one where you're self-published, I guess. But so
Yeah.
you did designs for other publishers?
Yeah. So I did one game with my girlfriend, which was a restaurant management game. But unfortunately, the company we signed with had to stop the activity.
Oh,
So this
okay.
project is on pause. But it's not a problem because like after that, like decide to start self-publishing for Boktor with Adrian at Foxtrot Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so in Belgium, is it like I know now there's a big board game community there, but going back, 10, 15 years ago, like how did you get into it? Like what kind of started your whole journey down this path of the board game industry?
I think the really first start is passing in front of a games workshop as I was a store as I was a kid, and then like forcing my mom basically to get me a box of Warhammers.
Mm.
After that, I was in kind of a Warhammer club where I discovered also role-playing games. And through this, I actually made friends in my school, and we started playing role-playing games, and after that, board games. Um, and in that group of friends is Adrian that I'm launching Boktor with right now.
Yeah.
And that was 25 years ago. Time has passed, but yeah, slow, like progressively, just start to be interested in lots of different areas. And yeah, with COVID, suddenly, I guess like a lot of people being locked in, a lot of time, brain like going crazy, and started creating games. And actually, Boktor was the first one I worked on.
Mm.
As first, I thought it's going to be something easy to do. It's going to take me 2 days. The idea was to create a game for my brother to offer for his birthday. Because I'm like, all the shops are closed. What can I do for his birthday? I'm going to create a board game. So we had like a old decent game, like the first edition. I'm like, I'm going to just wrap up some new rules and do this. Yeah, I thought it's going to take 2 days, and 5 years after, here I am on Gamefound tomorrow, or like today, I think, when it's going to be released, this podcast.
It'll
But yeah,
be on your launch day. Yeah.
okay. But so yeah, at the moment recording, yeah, it's tomorrow is the launch, 5 years after starting working on Boktor.
Jeez, 5 years is a good journey. And did you find, like, along the way, were there certain things that just weren't working, or like did you have any things where you had to kind of like almost tear it up and start again?
Yeah, like the first version was very fun, but was super long. And when I started playing it, the first version of Boktor, it was still like during COVID, so everybody had a lot of time. Bars were closed. I mean, in Brussels, it was like for like 9 months there is no bars, nothing. So we could spend the whole day playing, and then life opened up again, and like people didn't have time to play long games anymore. And I noticed that's not what I want to do either. And so we started working on like making this game like shorter, 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 while keeping it epic and taking away all those rules that made them like hard for non-gamers.
Hmm.
Big gamers like could understand the previous version, but as soon as I showed to more light gamers, it was too much, and that's not what I wanted to do. So a lot of the work has been done really on making it as smooth and like straightforward as possible, which I think worked quite well right now.
Yeah.
We have rules in 5 minutes. We play in 45 minutes, 1 hour, which is quite good for a dungeon crawler. And I
That,
think it feel a niche that people have been asking for.
that's right up my alley. Like for our publishing company, that is literally in the key tenets of anything we publish is you have to be able to teach in 5 minutes, and you have to be able to set it up and take it down quickly, and a play time of around an hour. For me, that's a sweet spot. Just as a lot of us have our busy life, and it doesn't mean that we're less passionate about board games. It's just being able to sit down and get that time to get that enriched experience. You don't always have 2-3 hours to kill playing a game, right? So if you can get something that you can get to the table quickly and have a great experience at the same time is an efficient experience in terms of time, I think that's kind of the sweet spot, right?
Yeah, that's exactly the sweet spot that we've been looking for with this, because as you said, like life goes on, and you see your friends, and by
Yeah.
the time you finish dinner, you look at the time, you're working the next day, you're like, can't get in those 3 hours Gloomhaven session that we planned, and what do we do now? And so it's kind of good to live an epic adventure in 1 hour, and if you have more time, you do another one. That's not a problem, but at least it's up to you to decide how you slice your time.
Yeah. And then Boktor. So what? Like that's kind of a weird. Like where did the whole theme come from? These characters. Like where did this kind of narrative universe come from?
And the universe itself, we had a lot of discussion. So I started working first alone on this project as a game designer. Adrien was the first one to test, like the first prototype, and to me, oh, it's awesome. You need to push it. You need to push it further. You need to, yeah, you need to work on this. And after a while, he started Foxtrot Games to launch his first game, Puck. He's a graphic designer, so that's kind of his alley.
Mm-hmm.
And then I talked with him, and we're like, okay, let's do it together. Let's do Boktor together. And he loves this kind of theme, more like the Greek mythology and all that. So we had a lot of discussion. The first version was more like medieval fantasy. But he's like, oh, let's do something different. There's a lot of medieval fantasy. What can we do? And he's passionate about this kind of Greek mythology and all that. And he was super inspired by this. So we started looking for an illustrator that could come along for that journey. And that's how it happened.
Wow. So, and then in terms of like, is there like an expanded kind of story that you've kind of thought up around this, like these characters and this journey? Like, is there parts of the story that aren't even in the game that you kind of backfilled the story with?
Yeah. So basically, the idea is that it's six different tribes that have been uniting themselves to stay at peace.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an evil tyrant that comes in this unified Boktor world, and he succeeded to steal relics. And there's like 3 relics that were like hidden to keep peace in the realms. And he stole them, and by putting them together, he unleashed a vortex. And there's a huge vortex that and portals opening, hordes of monsters like attacking and destroying Boktor. And from each of those tribes, there's like one hero that has to feel a destiny to become a god by saving Boktor. And so they all gather up and go to fight and find first these tyrants before the vortex destroys everything. In the game, it translates with portals where the monsters are coming out, and there's a vortex that's gonna kind of make the ticking bomb of the game, let's say. And when the vortex goes to the end, the world explodes and you lose. So you have to find where the tyrant is, explore the forest to find this tyrant, and vanquish him before it's too late.
Yeah, I was just showing some visuals on screen while you're talking about it. I mean, it looks so good. Like, just even like the chunky pieces, the meeples. Like, it's clear you guys put a lot of thought into this. I think I gotta believe just the art design alone, outside of like the game design, but just the art. How long did that take to get all this kind of illustrated and put together? Like that, this seems like a huge task.
So, well, the illustration part took about 6 months. Like once we found Carrie, which is the illustrator for the core game,
Yeah.
and then we have Nam, which is illustrator for the second game, the expansion that we'll reveal tomorrow. Yeah, there's 6 months of illustration, and after that, there's a whole editing job that's ongoing. That's Adrien's part to kind of put everything together, change the balance of the colors, and try to fit everything in the cards, and then asking little modifications to the illustrators because things don't match as we hoped, and then it's a lot of work. We with the core game we finished, and now we're finishing up the expansion with all illustration, and now it's time to shine for Adrien to kind of assemble everything and make it look great.
It looks cool, right? And 1 to 6 players, again, from a player count, I think is a sweet spot. You decided to go on Gamefound. What was the decision process that got you guys to Gamefound versus, say, like a Kickstarter?
Well, we asked a few people with more experience than us, including Stefan.
I know he's a fan of Gamefound for sure.
But so far we've been very happy with it. To be honest, ourselves, when we were thinking and we were like analyzing different games and trying to see which platform do we go on. Personally, I find myself lost in Kickstarter. You arrive and you need to find where are the board games. There's a lot of other things, other projects, and Gamefound, you arrive, it's just board games. So I felt it was like nicer to be only with board games. It's and they give way more visibility. For instance, when we started and we put just the page on with a few illustrations and a bit of text, we had like quickly 1,000 followers.
Oh wow!
We didn't put any ads. We didn't mention to anybody. We didn't give any flyers at that moment. Just from Gamefound, there's 1,000 people who came on the page in the first months. And then obviously more are still coming. But I think the platform is very good to give visibility to projects, even to newcomers like us that, we don't have a community build up. Yes, we've been to festivals and all this, but it's not like we have a license or that we've done like 20 games before with a huge mailing list to contact.
We'll put this in context. And again, we're recording here before you go live. So I'll be interested tomorrow to see where what your day one shakes out at. But right now, you're almost at 12,000 people following this campaign.
This is amazing.
This is huge. This now, I can't understate that number, right? So even if you get to, 10% of those people end up falling all the way through and actually back in the game, this is a 6-figure game easily. Right, it just doing 10% of your followers, right? That's not even new people coming in. That's your current followers. So, I know you guys are gonna be very happy with where this lands, and certainly I think this is a culmination of all the hard work that you guys had put into it. So, congratulations on that. It's cool seeing people have success like this, and it's certainly something I think people need to check out. Can you talk a little bit to the character development boards in this game? Because I think most people understand the dungeon crawler, right? And I was showing some again on screen. As you're exploring, you're kind of crawling, this dungeon, which in this case I think it's a topographical map. But there's also like these hero boards, and you talk about how you're able to kind of evolve the heroes. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the heroes are very highly asymmetric. So that's something that we build from the start. So they have a way of attacking that's unique for each of them. That's going to drive the strategy. Just a few examples. We have Heka, which is kind of a witch kind of characters, and she's going to be better as much like when she loses life.
Hmm.
So as she gets weaker, she actually gets stronger. So you kind of want to take damage to get better, and that's a very unique strategy. While we have Damas, which is a mage, and he wants to be alone and needs to focus. So if he's alone on the tile, he's going to be better, and if there's monster on the tile, it's going to be quite bad at hitting. So we have these different mechanics for each characters, and some do more damage, more distance, more thing like this. And they, as every time they're gonna slay a monster, there's an experience wheel that's coming to the whole group that's gonna progress of one.
Mm.
And every time it goes full circle, all heroes are gonna get a level. So we can all level up together. It's like a full co-op game. And when you're gonna take two cards from your deck, each hero has their own set of experience cards, and you're gonna pick one. Some are gonna be objects that are gonna increase or improve your attacks, or like give you passive powers. And some other cards are new powers, new actions that you're going to be able to perform whenever you want, as long as you can spend the energy needed.
Hmm.
And that's with, yeah, we usually get around 7 levels per game. So you don't see all the cards. You cannot play with all the cards in one session.
Okay.
So each game really feels different. But you're going to almost go through all of them and have to pick, depending on the situation, which one you want to take. And some are like more damage oriented, others are going to help you to move or to teleport or to push monsters, to heal, lots of different powers. And that's, I think, the most exciting part of the game, because you really see your characters like evolving and leveling up very quickly. Like for me, as a teenager, when I was playing role-playing game the first time, that was the most epic thing. Like, wow, you get a level, you get new skills, new gear, and thing like this. And we wanted to have this excitement, this feeling, but like in one session,
Hmm.
all compact. And it also allows us to have easy rules, because our rules are very simple. You learn them in 5 minutes. But every time you're gonna get a level, you're gonna have these new actions you can do. You're gonna learn them like one by one as the games goes. And by the end of the game, there's actually a lot of different things you can do, and you can have like complex actions without having to go through half an hour of rule book before that.
Yeah, that's a challenge, right? With some of these games, is you can spend as much time doing the teach at the beginning. And I had one like this the other night. We were playing at our game night, and it was a pretty complicated game. And the teach itself was as long as the amount of time we played, just explaining how to play the game. And that can kind of suck the air out of the room, so to speak, right? In terms
Yeah.
of the excitement, like it's like, I just want to get on with this game, but like, you know, before we get there, you got to learn this piece. Okay, now and then once you do that piece, you got to do this other piece. So I think the fact that you guys are kind of focused on, let's get this thing set up and going quick, which allows people to maximize their enjoyment. And again, in a condensed period of time, I think it was is quite clever. And then,
Yeah, that was a big focus for us, to have it as fast as stable as possible.
yeah,
And also that we wanted a game that we can play with like heavy gamers, and then also with newcomers, people who are used to lighter games and more retail games, let's say. And that you don't want to scare them directly with a massive half an hour preparation, or
yeah,
sometime more. So that was very important for us.
I love it. Are you playing this at conventions? Like, have you guys taken this to the various cons at all, like Essen or anything like that?
Yeah, we took it to them to conventions in France and in Belgium. So we did 5 conventions in total, and then we went to also like smaller groups of players, and like like association and like game clubs and things like this. And it works very well. That's what convinced me that okay, we can go on, we
Hmm.
can go with it. I would put it on the table. People will like come in because of the illustration, but then I could explain it in 5 minutes and actually like walk off. I can walk off, and then people play. I'm looking from afar, and everything is clear, and they can directly play. There's a one or twice I have a question, but that's normal. You would have a rule book next to it. It would be answered. And so, yeah, a lot of very good feedbacks. And so we decided, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, from what I could see on screen, and again, this could be a virtual mock-up, but it looks real. Like how many prototypes did you guys have made, so you could kind of play test this with the various groups?
So we had a lot of different versions of this game and like very handmade prototypes.
Yeah.
So different version. Now we printed 10 factory prototypes, like at the factory we're going to work with.
Oh wow.
And those are like, yeah, they look almost like the real deal. It's going to be still a bit better, like the
Sure.
version, and depending on the stretch goal, even more. But yeah, also we did some where we had to cut a lot of things ourselves and went through a lot of different versions before this version.
Who's the factory
Right now,
that you guys are using?
Long Pack.
Are you using Long Pack?
Yeah.
Long Pack is
Pack,
fantastic. I remember when I first reached out to them, probably a few years ago now. At that time, I wanted them to do like a limited run, like a short run, because I like to have like reviewer copies that I send out. And they didn't want to do it. So that forced me to use some other manufacturers. And as I would keep tendering my games out, I would say, anybody that wants to qualify to be even considered, you have to be willing to do a small run first. I get it that I'm going to be paying very high costs because this is going to be done by hand in your factory, but we absolutely need to have this going into our reviews and and being able to show the game and so forth. And they've come full circle around, and they have no issue with it now. And quite frankly, it's been the preferred manufacturer for me to use for a lot of these games. One of the benefits to that is you can actually see things that you wouldn't, like in a virtual setting, right? It's almost like theoretical of everything should work, but until you actually have it in your hand, that sometimes you can see, I need to make this change to the die line, or I might have to change this in the printing because this is not kind of working quite right. Did you guys find that at all? Like, was there a lot of tweaks when you were able to actually physically see it in your hand?
We are quite lucky. It's went way better than we thought. Like we had the prototype, the one we send them to reviewers. There's, I think, the insert we need to improve. We noticed, okay, there's not enough room for sleeves, and that seemed to be very important for a lot of potential backers. And little things are like, okay, we can go a bit higher, like a bit stronger on some colors, or little details. But we're quite happy. But as you say, I think it's very important for us also to do those prototypes with the manufacturer we're going to use in the end, because they get to understand how the game works. If there's a problem, I prefer to have a problem with those 10 copies, even if they're expensive because it's small copies, but at least we see them. And it went quite well. We had a lot of exchange with them. It's a very long process. They must be very patient in Long Pack, because we've been talking with them for like over 2 years for this project.
It's I have this right now on. We have a game, Survivors of Venus, where we had our fulfillment date will be like this coming August, and we're in that part now where it's just back and forth with the files, right? With Long Pack, right? You make a tweak, and they come back and say, okay, our engineers are saying you should do it this way, and then we say, okay, make that change. How's it look now? Well, wait a second, you need to change this, this, and this, and it's a very boring. People are like, well, where's our update? Like, what's going on? It's like, guys, we're like 7 months away, and all I'm doing is handing files back and forth. That's the only thing that's happening right now, which is super boring, but it's necessary, right? And it's tedious, and I don't know if people fully appreciate how tedious like the file part can be, because you can mess something up, right? Which you can't kind of take back once you've printed it. So, I mean, you gotta get your files right. So part of the shorthand you get, though, is because you did these 10 copies with them, and we had this example with our game as well when we did our 100 copies, is some of the files that we had sent to them are perfect as they are. So we don't need to change them. So they're like, okay, all the punch outs, we're just going to park that file over here because we don't need to change it. It's already good. Let's focus our efforts on, tweaking these other things. So sometimes that can speed up the process as well. Do you have any kind of like stretch kind of goals or any kind of surprises you guys have planned during the campaign?
Yeah, there's going to be stretch goals. I don't know exactly what time you're going to reveal it. Maybe the first one would be unlocked.
Probably.
Well, I can say the first stretch goal is like a new monster for the expansion,
Oh, cool.
which is like a scorpion with has several life with this fun things with meeples. It's all wooden meeple, and the lives has like little sword that you can put through the monsters. It's very fun to use
Mm.
to mark how much life they have left. And so that's the first stretch goals. We're gonna have some that are like more material oriented and some that are more gameplay oriented. Um, Especially yeah, for a lot of things for the expansion that we reveal.
So the
Yeah,
expansion, given that this isn't going to, people aren't going to be hearing this until after your campaign's already launched. So in the evening
I
of
can speak
launch day,
about it. I
let's
can
talk about
speak.
it. So what's the
Yeah.
expansion? I'm excited. You got me hooked.
So the expansion is the Shadows of the Forest. Basically, the tyrant has corrupted the forest, and you have those giant guardian trees, which are 12 centimeters. How much is in inches? I forgot. But like yeah, like this big structures that are trees, a bit like the ants in the Lord of the Ring
Yeah,
that
yeah.
attack the heroes. And you're gonna need to find across the map some relics that you can bring back on top, and then those guardian trees become your allies and they attack monsters instead. And you can kind of climb on those trees, push monster off there, jump to land on some monsters, and it's a very cool dynamic.
Oh,
It
that's
brings
cool.
all new monsters, so we have a lot of new monsters for these expansions and new cards to play them and new magical objects and new cards for your heroes. So it's actually a quite big expansion.
Hmm.
Um, Adrien always told me like, "Oh, stop with your ideas. You're redoing a new game." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do a new game." But uh, basically, for the core game, our main focus what it needs to be as smooth and straight line as possible. Like you need to be able to play it with newcomers, with anyone. The like I was fighting to take every rule away. Like every rule, I question it: is there a way I can delete that rule? For with the expansion, it's still light in rules, but like we can go a bit. We can put a bit more subtle mechanics and things like this because it's for people who played already the base game,
Mm.
and so they already know all those rules. They must have played enough that they know the base rules,
Yeah.
and they can move on to this expansion with a lot of new mechanics. We have like some meeples that ride other meeples. So some meeples are slow, but it's triads. But then we have wolves that are gonna go and pick them up, and you have the meeples kind of sitting on top of the other meeple, and
Oh,
then they
that's
go
cool.
faster. Um, yeah, we have a system of vegetation. So we have mushrooms that are popping around you. And if you don't succeed to like take them away, then everybody gets attacked. So basically the forest is too corrupted and then you get poisoned and then so it's all new dynamics, all new mechanics that are gonna bring excitement for players who played enough of Boktor, the core game, and want something more and more variety.
Clearly, this has consumed your life for the past several years.
Yeah.
Have you been working on other games? Like as a designer, often designers have multiple things kind of going at the same time. Is there another game that you've been working on that's going to come after this, or can you talk about kind of what comes next?
So this I have a few games at different state of maturity. Some, as I told you, that we're signed with a editing company, with a publishing company, and I
Yeah.
just got the right back. So it might be one of those. I have some other that are for me kind of ready, and then a lot of great ideas that needs to a lot more testing. We're not sure yet what is the next part. It might be also to keep on with Boktor if, as it seems, we have the success that we hope we're going to have tomorrow. Then maybe Boktor can live on with more expansion and new adventures.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Well, Ludo, I want to wish you all the best on this campaign. When this is actually this episode releases, you guys are already going to be high fiving each other at that point. I'm sure this thing's going to be a
I hope
smash
so.
hit.
I hope so.
It looks. I cannot. understate how cool this game looks. Like I think you guys are gonna be very happy with where you land. I'm gonna be watching it, and I want to wish you guys and your team all the success in the world, my friend.
Thank you very much, James. Thanks for having me on this podcast. And yeah, no, right now we crossing fingers. Everything is ready on our side. So by the time people watch this or listen to this, the result will start to come in. But hopefully it all goes well tomorrow.
Sounds good, my friend. You take care. Cheers.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
This has been an episode of the Board Game Binge podcast, hosted by James Staley, produced by James Staley and Mike Bruner, with original music by Nick Smith. If you would like to watch these interviews live, simply subscribe to our YouTube channel, Board Game Binge, and you'll get access to live interviews, giveaways, and interesting board game content from across the industry. I can't wait for you to join us. See you next time.